on Fascinating Frontiers, episode 101, coming to you on June 14th, 2026. The universe has been busy, let's get into it. The week's biggest developments, pulled together, what actually moved, why it matters, and what to watch next. Prada and Axiom have moved a liquid cooling ventilation garment from concept to finished hardware for the Axiom Space lunar spacesuit. Project leads describe the garment as very aesthetically pleasing, while noting its role in heat management during surface operations on the moon. The garment will be worn beneath the full Axiom suit developed for NASA Artemis missions. This marks the first public reveal of a completed element from the Prada partnership. Axiom also unveiled another completed suit component that incorporates materials and construction techniques developed with Prada. Follow-on work will now focus on integration, certification, and mobility testing ahead of crewed lunar surface activity. With suit hardware now tangible, the crew who will wear it shared their own mindset this week. The 4-person Artemis 3 crew discussed how test flying experience prepares them for the complexities of landing near the lunar South Pole. Listeners hear directly about the training timeline leading to the first crewed lunar landing since 1972. The discussion highlights coordination between Orion, the human landing system, and gateway elements still in development. While Artemis crews prepare for the moon, scientists are already modeling what future telescopes might detect there and beyond. A new study modeled how the planned NASA Habitable Worlds Observatory would detect atmospheric signs of life on a planet resembling Earth billions of years ago. The analysis focused on ozone, oxygen, and methane combinations that would stand out against the background of an early Earth-like world. Researchers ran simulations across different viewing angles and cloud cover to gauge detection. The work helps set performance requirements for the mission's instruments before hardware is finalized. As we refine our search for life elsewhere, regulators cleared a major hurdle for one of the largest commercial constellations serving Earth. Regulators removed a looming construction milestone that Amazon faced for its low Earth orbit broadband network. The waiver allows the company to continue deploying satellites without immediate penalty. Officials cited public interest in fostering a second major broadband constellation, alongside existing operators. Amazon has already launched initial test satellites and is ramping production. Observers will watch the pace of additional launches and service rollout timelines in coming months. While U.S. commercial broadband advances, China is expanding its own commercial launch options for station resupply. Beijing has narrowed commercial rocket providers eligible to fly a new low-cost cargo spacecraft to the Tiangong station. The move expands the role of private companies in routine station resupply. Selected entities will compete for missions that previously relied solely on state rockets. The program aims to lower costs while maintaining reliable delivery of supplies and experiments. Next steps include final selection of operators and initial demonstration flights. A separate proposal from Beijing explores procuring commercial satellite imagery and related Earth observation services from private providers. The approach would open routine purchases of orbital data that had previously come through government channels only. Commercial activity is reshaping insurance markets as well. 3 geostationary satellites were recently canceled, reducing expected premiums for insurers. SES disclosed the pullbacks after a period of heavy claims from other losses. Legacy GEO assets had long provided steady income that offset riskier segments of the market. The shortfall now pressures carriers to adjust rates or seek new business lines. On a quieter note, this week also marked the birthday of a foundational solar wind theorist. Theoretical astrophysicist Eugene Parker was born on this date in 1927, and later proposed that the sun continuously emits a stream of charged particles. His 1958 paper described a supersonic solar wind that would reach Earth and the outer planets. Mariner 2 confirmed the prediction 4 years later, validating the first detailed model of the heliosphere. Parker's framework remains central to understanding how the sun shapes space weather and protects the solar system from galactic cosmic rays. Ongoing missions continue to test refinements of his model. June 11th also marks the 40th anniversary of the death of space artist Chesley Bonestell. Born in 1888, Bonestell created realistic paintings of space that spanned decades. His best-known work came from the 1952 to 1954 Collier series, Man Will Conquer Space Soon, produced with Werner von Braun. Those illustrations helped turn speculative ideas into believable engineering targets for the public. His art appeared in many magazines and books through the mid-20th century. Meanwhile, fresh research suggests an unexpected birthplace for millions of exoplanets. A study found that millions of exoplanets could be born near active supermassive black holes. Researchers expressed astonishment at the scale of potential planet formation in those extreme environments. The findings point to regions previously considered hostile to planet formation, now appearing capable of producing large numbers of worlds. Models indicate that dense gas disks around these black holes could allow dust and planetesimals to coalesce despite intense radiation. Omega Centauri is highlighted in the same reports as the largest globular cluster in the Milky Way. The cluster contains millions of stars and has long served as a key laboratory for studying stellar populations. Its size and age make it a reference point when comparing other globular systems across the galaxy. Minor cataloging notes this week address suborbital launches that appear on radar but lack public orbital elements. Several objects were tracked on radar yet carried blank LSATs in public catalogs. One initial report suggested the launches had been omitted entirely from standard records. A follow-up correction confirmed that the suborbital trajectories had in fact been entered correctly. Observers noted that blank elements sometimes indicate classified missions rather than cataloging gaps. Engineers demonstrated a new spacecraft network switching system in recent ground trials. The technology allows spacecraft to move between different communication networks without interruption. It builds on existing relay infrastructure to improve data return rates as more commercial and government assets operate in orbit. Future missions will incorporate the switching protocol during initial flight tests. A new 17-minute video follows flight controllers at the Munich facility that runs the European laboratory on the International Space Station. Columbus flight director Tristan Hermel explains how teams coordinate with international partners around the clock. The segment includes footage of ESA astronaut Sophie Adenau conducting experiments during her Epsilon mission. Viewers see real-time monitoring of life support systems and payload operations. The center has maintained continuous coverage since Columbus was attached to the station in 2008. Industry leaders report that artificial intelligence systems are being deployed to handle repetitive design and inspection tasks rather than to cut headcount. The technology helps overloaded factories meet rising demand for satellites and launch vehicles. Executives note that current production rates already exceed available skilled workers. Companies are training staff to oversee AI outputs instead of replacing them. The approach is expected to ease bottlenecks in composite manufacturing and avionics testing. Kioxia is presenting radiation-tolerant memory solutions at HPE Discover Las Vegas 2026. These storage systems target the demanding conditions of AI workloads, hybrid cloud, and deep space missions. The company's technology must handle high radiation levels while maintaining data integrity over long durations. The announcements focus on future hardware for both commercial and government space programs. The experimental X-59 jet reached Mach 1 while engineers measured the resulting pressure signature on the ground. NASA designed the long, slender shape to reshape the shock waves into a softer sonic thump. Participants can submit their names to fly aboard the upcoming Nancy Grace Roman Space Telescope. The mission will measure distances to millions of galaxies and search for planets in the Milky Way using microlensing. A digital boarding pass is available now through the dedicated NASA portal. Data from Roman is expected to complement narrower field observations from other telescopes. 3 planets remain visible in the western evening sky, but are steadily separating. On Wednesday, the moon will pass in front of Venus during daylight hours for observers in parts of North America. Before we go, keep an eye on the pace of Amazon's next project Kuiper launches. and the initial demonstration flights for China's commercial cargo vehicles. That's Fascinating Frontiers for today. If you enjoyed this, a rating or review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify really helps new listeners find the show. I'm Patrick in Vancouver. Thanks for exploring with me, and I'll see you next time. And if you'd rather watch than listen, find us on YouTube at NARA Network. Links in the show notes. And before you go, this show is part of the NARA Network, a family of daily podcasts covering tech, science, markets, and more. If you enjoyed today's episode, give OmniView a listen, a balanced daily world news briefing that takes every side seriously. You can explore the whole lineup at neranetwork.com. This episode used AI voice synthesis of my voice. Editorial selection and analysis are my own.
Drifting softly through